Hi everyone, today we are going to start our history unit in the Middle East. There is obviously some overlap between religion and history in the Middle East, so some things will already be familiar to you. Okay. So today we're going to learn about the early caliphates. So caliphates is the term for the ruling of the Islamic Empire, and the organization of it as it grew after the death of Muhammad. So to start with, the first four caliphates are referred to as the Rashidun. So the Rashidun means the rightly guided caliphates. The reason it's called rightly guided is the first four were all men who had direct interaction with Muhammad, so they knew Muhammad. So last class, or the class before, we talked about the division between the Sunni and the Shia, and that was caused by that argument over who should rule the Islamic Empire, or basically be the religious leader after Muhammad. The Sunnis believed it should be his father-in-law, Abu Bakr, and the Shia believed it should be his son-in-law, Ali, based on blood relation, as well as Muhammad's wishes. Yeah. So we know that Abu Bakr is actually the one who takes over and creates the first caliphate. So Abu Bakr will rule only for 2 years, from 632 to 634, when he will die from illness. We know that he was obviously the father-in-law of Muhammad, but he was also a well-trusted advisor of Muhammad. Yeah. The next person to take over will be Umar ibn al-Khattab, who ruled for 10 years, 634 to 644, until he is assassinated. So he was the advisor of Muhammad. Okay. Under his rule, under that second caliphate, is where you will see the conquest of the Persian Empire and taking over that old area and expanding out through the Middle East, definitely in areas of modern-day Iran. Then you'll see Uthman ibn Affan, and he will rule for 12 years until he's assassinated. He was not an advisor to Muhammad, but he was a follower of Muhammad, so did have direct correlation with him, but wasn't one of his trusted members. And then after Uthman, you will see Ali ibn Abi Talib, who is his son-in-law, will finally take over, and he will only rule for 5 years until he is assassinated. He was a follower of Muhammad before he married his daughter. He was a cousin of Muhammad. And like I said, he will marry Fatima, the only surviving adult child of Muhammad. Yeah. So those are the first four caliphates. You can see right from the beginning a lot of political turmoil, with a lot of assassinations and a lot of fighting. And again, you have that Sunni-Shia division that comes out of the first four caliphates. After Ali's death, you will see more caliphates for a very long time, but they are not directly connected with Muhammad. Okay, so after Ali, you'll see the Umayyad Caliphate. It is a clan name, so the Umayyad clan comes to power, and you'll see the followers after that being in the same line. Muawiyah was chosen as the fifth caliph, and this was outside of Muhammad's bloodline. So when Ali was assassinated, he did have children with Fatima. The oldest grandson. Okay. No, I was right the first time. His oldest son, who would essentially be the oldest grandson of Muhammad, Hassan, gave up his claim to the throne. He said he did not want to run the government. So Muawiyah is chosen under the Umayyad Caliphate. He is going to really create a lot of structure for the Islamic Empire. He's going to model the government off the Byzantine Empire. And For a long time, people were very supportive of him, feeling that he was going to create a more just ruling of the empire, and he had promised to choose a successor who the people could trust and had proven themselves. And then he doesn't do that. He chooses his son Yazid as successor. And when Yazid takes over, you'll see a lot of fighting, particularly with the descendants of Muhammad, because most likely Yazid was threatened by the concept that there were those who were directly related to Muhammad who would come take over. And while Hassan had said that he would not claim the throne, his younger brother, Hussein, did not agree to that. And you see challenges happening between Yazid and Hussein over the throne, and a lot of argument going back and forth. Over time, you will see Yazid maintaining power, and then his son Abd al-Malik will inherit the throne, and he's going to be one who really unifies the Islamic Empire. You'll see a lot of things that we saw in other ancient empires that aren't necessarily religious based. They're just good basis for government. So you'll see a standard set of weights and measures that are used throughout the empire, so everyone is able to use the same measurements for buying and selling of goods. You'll see a standard coinage created, so there's no more exchanging different coins. Everyone uses the same. You'll see a highlight within the empire. That's when the Dome of the Rock will be constructed. You can see it on your slide there, which gives sort of like a show-off point for the empire while still connecting it to that religious basis. And you will see that full expansion of the empire all the way west through Spain, and then all the way east to the Indus River. So they won't go into India, but they will get right up next to it. Okay. So the biggest challenge that will come to the Umayyad Empire will be in both the west and the east. So in the west, out into Spain, you will see Charles Martel, okay, and the Battle of Tours in 732 in the west. So basically what had happened was the Caliphate was able to extend all the way up through Spain, called the Iberian Peninsula. And they're actually going to try to push into France, but you're going to see this very organized effort to stop the spread, and it's very successful in France and kind of pulls all the Frank and Gaul people together. That's what your activity will be about today. You're going to watch a little video about the Battle of Tours and answer a couple of questions about the significance of the battle. So with that stopping point happening, just like with any empire, it seems like they're going to win and win and win, and then they lose. And that's what's going to happen. And over time, you'll see Spain pushed back and loss of territory in that area. Then in the east, okay, not at the same time, but very close, in 750 CE, you'll see the rise of the Abbasids. And they're going to be really against secularism. So all that work to create more of a standalone government that's not tied into the religion, that is going to be pushed back upon. And you'll see the leader at that time, Abd al-Rahman, fleeing to Spain. With the leader of France, Charles Martel, winning and creating this great battle between what essentially becomes the Christian forces and the Muslim forces, and then to have the fighting in the east to reassert the value of the Muslim religion. You do see some of that set up for that division for the Crusades that will happen later on. Okay, so if you look at the Umayyad Caliphate, it's really going to fall into different phases. In the east, what will become the Abbasid Seljuk Empire will have broken off from the Umayyad Caliphate. They'll create that more religious base, and they will be very successful until 1258 with the Mongol invasion, when the Mongolians come in and they kind of wreck everything, like they do. And then in the west, when you look at Spain, you do have that success of Muslim Spain. While it does decrease over time, you'll see the final crushing happening in 1492. Does anyone know what happened in 1492? Yet Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Also the Spanish Inquisition, same exact time. Not really fun to be in Spain. And we will learn much more about the Spanish Inquisition next class. But like I said, so that's your lecture for today. We're starting off with history. You're going to learn a little bit more about the Battle of Tours, and why it might become so famous, both for the stopping the spread of the Muslim Empire and kind of solidifying their borders, as well as really connecting basically Europe back together again for the first time since the Dark Ages began. All right, so you're going to go watch that little video. I'm going to answer 3 questions, and have a good day.